Good morning, welcome back to LMH Live. Each week at 10:30 on Wednesdays, we speak to a variety of industry experts and luxury thought leaders so that we can hear a little bit more about who they are, what they do, and it also gives you a chance to ask questions. So I do want you to have a think about it because it's really great when you can be interactive. So do have a think about any events you might be thinking of or anything you want to know about the event industry, and we can ask George. So today I'm speaking to George from Moriarty Events. George, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here. Hello everyone.
So why don't you start by telling us just a little bit about who you are and perhaps how Moriarty Events began.
So, well, I'm George Griffiths-Jones and I am the founder of Moriarty Events, and we're about 3 years old now. You always forget because of the pandemic, there was that extra year. And I have a creative background, so I've been doing events for about 10 years. I started at art school, did interior architecture, and then I did film and theatre set design, which is kind of a bit niche. And then went into events and started quite young, just doing all different types of events. And then I thought, actually, how can I be the best in the industry? And that is by doing the catering side, the back office. Always got to start in the back office to learn how to be the best at the front. So I did that for about 4 years with a company called Rhubarb, and then I set up Moriarty. So Moriarty is actually Cockney rhyming slang for party. Let's have a Moriarty. And so my husband came up with the name because he's quite, I'm very creative, and that's kind of my main favourite thing. And actually it's a bit, and I'm very naughty, as everyone says. So it's a bit naughty, a bit cheeky. And then obviously within Moriarty there is art. So putting the art in party. So that's where it came from. And then we've been going strong for 3 years.
And when you, for Moriarty, you know, it can be, I guess, you know, it can be a cluttered industry. So how do you think you stand out in the crowd? Like, what would you say is your point of difference?
I think that because of the creative background that I have, and also the team that we've kind of specially selected has, we're quite creative and we're very storytelling, and that's probably from the history of working in film. It means that actually every single event is a story and every single guest is completely different. So you have to create that perfect story for your granny or for the businessman that actually only has 5 minutes to pop in. You need to make an impact with each individual person. And I think that's something that we do really well, and it makes us very different because you just don't walk straight into an event and go, oh wow, this is amazing. Everyone has that different experience. So I think that's probably what I would say sets us apart from others, because we have the ability to kind of create in different levels rather than just on one platform. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. And I think, so if you were going to sort of say what makes an event so special, what's your key objective for every event that you do?
What would it be? Oh, it totally depends. I always ask our clients, and especially our corporate clients and luxury brands, what would you like your guests to leave thinking? So I look at the end and I go, what do you want to leave? What impact do you want? What is the main purpose? And especially with the B2B clients, we look at their whole marketing package and we become an extension of their team, whereby we then take on actually the new brand or the new product or whatever it is, and we look at it from the back, and then we start there and then create the event like that. And as I mentioned before, it's all about the layers and then filling it in and just having layers to your event rather than just having it on one level. So I'd say that's probably what we always suggest. Start at the end.
Yeah, and
no one ever says that.
Look towards the end goal. Yeah.
So that's probably what we would do.
And why do you explain to us? Think if you had 2 events, I guess you've got sort of B2B and B2C. Like, can you describe any exciting events that you'll never forget?
Gosh, Oh yeah, so one of my favourite events, we flew 60 corporate clients over to Italy, to the Rosewood Hotel in Tuscany, which is just breathtaking. Like, I've never been anywhere like it. The site visits were amazing because I've got to go 3 times, so that was quite great. But we went with 60 of them for 3 days. We took over 4 villas as well as the main hotel, so it's all exclusive. We put on the most beautiful dinner and party in one of the villas. The next day we did 6 a.m. sunrise, hot air balloons, which was incredible. I mean, the views and the amazing smog, everyone was just kind of blown away. And then we did wine tasting, we went foraging. That was probably like a highlight for me because of the excitement, and also, you know, we had a really generous budget to work with, which meant we actually could really kind of treat everyone really well. And the Rosewood is one of our favourite hotels to work at, so yeah, I would say that's probably like my favourite corporate one.
Yeah, and have you got one sort of more of a, can you talk about any of your sort of B2C, so your individual client ones?
So we've done so many different private ones, lots of weddings, some we can't talk about, some we can. I think that we did an amazing wedding at the Natural History Museum. That in itself is such a beautiful venue. And the ceilings are just, the height, the feeling, everything about it, it's amazing. 350 people for a huge wedding and party there that just went on all night. And I think the band was the highlight. So we always suggest some really epic bands, but if you can get yourself like a 15-piece band that just goes all night long, that's a winner. So that was a real party one. I think I even started dancing. So but anyway, love to get involved.
Well, and so if we now think about, look, no doubt the last year's probably been, but I'm sort of switching to business now because I think I'd love to hear about all your stories with events all day. But from a business perspective, things have probably changed over the last year. I mean, no doubt the event industry's been hit hard. So can you tell us a little bit, like, you know, have you had to change business and maybe what you're looking forward to in the future?
Yeah. So this year it has been hard for everyone in hospitality, it's been tricky for everyone. And I think that the main thing we did really well was that we pivoted really quickly. We had to make change to support our clients. We're still supporting our clients. So we've had so many amazing clients want to have their events this year that actually they might be postponing to next year. So I think what we did really well was the flexibility in that, and having that support. But then also during this last year, we've actually supported private clients and private memberships. So you might have Coutts Concierge or Amex, and they have their own members. So doing different workshops for them, or going into private homes and showing them how to utilise what they have at home to host beautiful dinners or summer parties and things like that. So that's kind of how we coped with it, as well as working with a florist. So we had Doghouse Flowers, who grow their own English flowers. So we put those together and then took them onto all the care homes whilst they were in isolation. So that was quite nice, and a nice thing to do for us as well, to feel like we could give back. Because sometimes as a planner, there's not much you can do, you know, we don't have warehouses, we don't have food and things, so actually just using organisation is kind of a nice thing. And then looking forward, it's looking busy, it's really exciting, and I think that the main thing we're noticing is actually events are on the comeback. It's all about capacity, it's all about, again, being flexible and making sure that you can get the right venue for a client to make sure it covers all their bases of concern. And I think at the moment that is the main element that we're kind of focusing on. But I think it's back. Next year's looking really big and good, which is exciting. And then this year a little bit smaller, but also I would say probably a lot more detail. So there's so much more to happen with a gorgeous private dinner. Clients are going, what charger plates can we have? What cutlery? What floral? Shall we do a table setup to look at it? Whereas before people didn't mind as much. They just kind of said, yeah, I'm sure the table would look great. But actually this is their event, hosting a lovely dinner, and it's so much more special now, which I don't think I think they might have taken it for granted a little bit.
Yeah, I think summer's looking better. Yeah, it looks like we're all going to be looking forward to summer, and it would be such a shame for us not to be able to enjoy events like we used to, but it is quite nice. I think across the board people are not taking things for granted anymore, isn't it? So the real, they're much more grateful for everything you're probably doing from them from an event point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and it also gives us a bit of time. So we've got a lot of events next year that are abroad, which is so nice to see. So this summer, we're really busy on site visits to get over there finally, to be able to go with clients, looking at venues, make decisions, look for suppliers. We're in France, Italy and Greece in the next 2 months, fingers crossed, depending on quarantine, but we'll just go through that. But it's exciting, and it's nice to actually start planning with people and for them to feel excited, and corporates doing offsites in Portugal, which we've done before, as well as weddings in France. We've got a client we're seeing later to plan their trip out to France in the next month or so. So lots is happening.
Exciting.
I know, I'm slightly exhausted. I'm not used to the time. I'm used to working at this pace.
And so we've got some questions for you, because obviously people have been writing in. So I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here, but you'll know all the answers, I'm sure. So you've talked about Rosewood in Italy. Where else would be a favourite destination for an event?
Abroad or the UK?
Anywhere.
Oh, so we are heading to Lake Como with a very, very famous special client. So that's really cool. Excited to tell you about that. There is also a venue in Bath that's owned by a film director that he only rents out to a few people. So that's really
another
cool.
favourite.
No, that's like a showstopper. Yeah. That's like amazing. I actually can't wait personally to get back into the V&A, the NHM, the Wallace Collection, the big stable ones. I love the hotels as well.
So many.
Yeah, we did an amazing event at the Lanesborough, and we took over their Celeste, their amazing Michelin-style restaurant, and we basically filled it with grass and trees with Nikki Tibbles, the florist, and created this incredible countryside escape. And I can't wait to do something like that at a venue and be able to host and do something really creative and slightly out of the box, because that's what I think we do probably best.
And what about there's a question, you probably answered this, but the key to a successful event in a nutshell? Creativity?
Yeah, I think creativity, and I think thoughtfulness. I think just make sure you're very thoughtful of the guests that are going to be there, even private or corporate. I think at the moment, thoughtfulness is probably the key to a successful event. It always changes, but creativity for me, always. But thoughtfulness for you as a planner if you're doing it yourself.
Any advice for someone starting out in luxury events from university?
Oh gosh, I'm sorry, it's such bad timing. Number one. I think just go for it. Don't take no for an answer. And also take a lot of interest in a brand. If you want to, I love people that get in touch with us who say, actually, I've been following you. And one of the best interviews I ever had was someone was just like, I've been following you for a while. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. What have you learned? And they go, well, you did this 6 months ago, and that was fascinating. You did this and you did this. And you go, actually, you really have taken interest in that specific business. And so look at what people do and see the style of what the companies do, and make sure that actually you fit within their style, because you're going to have far better time with them if you do get a job, but even in an internship. So, I think don't just do your research, but actually involve yourself in companies and kind of be a bit of a stalker. And learn what you like. Everyone's different. I'm huge friends with all of the people in our industry. Some of the best planners are like my best friends, but we're all so different, and we all provide such different things, and we actually pass clients on to each other all the time, because I think it's just, you've got to get the right fit being for a planner, because you are doing something very important to them, or it's putting your career on the line if it's B2B. You are that marketing manager, and you want to make sure that you're represented as best you can. So you've got to make sure that the person completely gets you. And so that's why I think we have some quite cool clients, because we're really good friends with our clients and we understand what they want to achieve.
What would you say are the sort of key attributes you need to have as an event planner if you are looking to be an event planner?
You've got to be very good at juggling, multitasking. I always find that I'm thinking about things whilst I'm doing another job. And someone said that to me, a great friend of ours said that to me, and he said, you're probably the only person that I know that could be having a conversation but also have another conversation at the same time. So that would be organisation, and then creativity and interest. Always having so much interest in culture, the arts, everything around you, because it makes what you're able to offer far greater.
What's the biggest thing you've learned from a mistake that you've made?
Gosh.
Any mistakes?
Yeah, loads. Loads. Mistakes are the best. Make them. Just make sure you can fix them. Just triple checking things, I think. For us, I didn't actually make this one mistake, but a friend of mine, they ordered all of their chairs and tables and everything on the wrong day. It was for the day after. So they arrived and suddenly it wasn't there, and it's just about being, and I think organised. Yeah, really, isn't it? And I think that's why, for me as advice, don't go for the big job at the top. Don't go, I just want to be an event planner. I went into catering for 4 years to learn how to do the back, and that was has taught me everything I've done. Henley Music Festival for 10,000 people, from a dinner for 2 people at the NHM. Both just as important, and both the detail needs to be right. So go for it, that catering company. If you can get the internship, you will learn a lot, as well as going for those really cool luxury event companies. But you're more impressive if you've had more experience learning all the areas. So
that leads into the last question. Are you looking for an intern this summer?
Oh gosh, no, not at the moment. We actually aren't, but I think later in the year we will be. Yeah. So please do we always keep all of our interns and inquiries on our filing system. So we do actually get in touch. So yeah, just get in touch and send us over.
To keep in touch with you.
Yeah.
So summer's. It looks like it's going to be a good summer.
Yeah.
Or hopefully continues positive news.
Yes, fingers crossed. Yeah. Exciting.
And I think probably to wrap it up, if you have more questions for Georgia, actually, she's quite well known to ask Georgia anything. So these Q&As, I think we'll probably do some more with you as the events start coming back and evolving again. So always send in more questions and we'll get Georgia to answer them. But thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll see you soon.
Really nice. Thanks.
And good luck this summer.
Oh yeah, thank you.